Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Avatar Wolf, and I'm by myself once again for our NFL picks. Before I start, I gotta do a quick announcement here. The NFL series on the Twitch channel itself will be postponed until next week. Some stuff came up this week, so I was busy, and this, that, and the other, as you guys already know. So we'll have it back up next week, and we'll have those games going on the channel on Twitch. But this week we got a few games to talk about. I'm gonna do this by myself. Potter's actually at work, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to actually get our schedule situated here where we both be on at the same time. But I'll just get his picks from him ourselves. And another thing is I'm gonna not do actual predictions like score predictions, at least on the graphics, because I figured that's a little bit too much work for me. I mean, I'm just doing the stuff now anyways. Might as well just give my picks and that'll be it, and go from there. So we're gonna do it like that way. And yeah, so here is gonna be the records and standings for this week. I think Potter has a big lead right now. I had a bad week last week too. So did Jeff as well. So we're kind of like low here. It's kind of getting close between every player here that's in here as well. It's gonna be a close week to this week, at least for the second seed. But top seed goes to Potter for right now. We'll see how long it lasts for. If it lasts, I mean, still a lot of season left, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So let's just get started here. We got to talk about the Thursday night game that happened this week. We have the New York Jets take on the Indianapolis Colts, with the Jets actually losing a game where they got blown out by the Indianapolis Colts, 45-30. That score sounds very close, but ladies and gentlemen, this game was already over by the fourth quarter. I believe the Jets had like maybe 14 points to 45 at one point, and the Colts just felt sorry for them and just let them score a little bit, and they came back in the fourth. Um, the Colts basically ran the ball right down their throats. Jonathan Taylor could not be stopped. 19 carries, 172 yards of rushing with 2 touchdowns. Even Hines had 6 carries for 74 yards. I mean, it was just all Colts all around. Carson Wentz also had a good day as well too, but he didn't have to do that much. The Indianapolis Colts had the game like locked up in the third quarter, and there was no stopping from the Jets. Jets offense just could not get anything going until at least until the game was pretty much sealed and done with. Mike White got injured in the game. He went 7 for 11, 95 yards and a touchdown. I mean, we didn't get to see the full extent of Mike White, but he did put a touchdown up, and he did not miss a few passes. He only missed a few passes here and there. Only got 95 yards. I mean, I didn't really expect much from White, especially. I mean, I think the best you're going to see from Mike White is what you've seen last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets will have Zach Wilson coming back apparently next week to take on the Bills. So we'll see how it goes from there for the Jets. But for right now, the Colts win 45-30. I did take the Colts, and as you can see, their predictions are already on this channel as well. We already showed the predictions and everything else like that. I believe only 2 people actually lost their predictions this week for that Thursday night game. A lot better than last week, because a lot of people actually took the Arizona Cardinals to win, and Cardinals lost. But yeah, Jets going down 2-6. They need to get something going, and the Colts going to 4-5. The Colts actually needed that win, man. It's an open division now for the AFC West. We'll talk about that more when we get up to Tennessee and all the other games here. But yeah, for right now, Colts 4-5. I mean, that's a good win for them, and they need to get back into it. So now we're going to talk about the actual teams on bye weeks this week. We got the Detroit Lions, who still hasn't won a game this season. The Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Washington Football Team. Seahawks will be getting Russell Wilson back apparently sooner rather than later, which is good for them. The Bucks, Washington. I mean, there's nothing really to know besides Russell Wilson coming back soon for the Seahawks. So, yeah. I mean, good for them. They need Russell Wilson, and I think they're actually close in the standings for the NFC West. I know Arizona has a firm grip on the AFC West right now, but again, anything can change last minute. You know what I mean? It's hard to say who's gonna win this or who's gonna win that. It's all here in the air right now, and any team can come away with winning the division in the NFL. Actually, it is wide open in the NFC West, but it's because the Cardinals and Rams are both 7-1 this season. The Seahawks are 3-5. The Seahawks might need to try and actually get something going here if they want to get back into it. I mean, I honestly, if I'm the Seahawks, I wouldn't even try to have Russell Wilson come back as soon as he can. I just have Russell Wilson take the rest of the season off, count the season over with, get a better draft pick, and get help for Russell Wilson next year because they need help on the offensive line. And I think the offensive line getting a rebuild would actually help the Seahawks a lot more, especially in this powerhouse NFC West division that we have this season. So up next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals coming in here 5-3. They lost last week to the Jets of all teams. The Browns also coming off of a loss. They lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which that's not really a good sign for the Browns. And this is their first meeting for this season. I'm taking Cincinnati to beat the Browns. Now, I'm taking Cincinnati because I'm figuring, the Browns are very injured this season. They just lost OBJ as well, which we'll talk about more in depth after I get done with talking about this here. But the Bengals also got embarrassed last week by the New York Jets, and the Bengals proved they can be a good team. They beat Baltimore 2 weeks ago. They're a decent team. It's just they had a hiccup losing to the Jets of all teams. I don't see it being a bad thing for Cincinnati losing to the Jets, really. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, hit the panic button, we're losing games here. No, it's not like Kansas City. It's not like Kansas City's case, but the Browns' big news coming out of the story right now today is that they actually officially released OBJ, so now the question will be, where will OBJ go? I'm going to give you guys my thoughts real quickly about where I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go to either LA, and that could be the Rams or Chargers, or Vegas and the Raiders. Now, I say those three teams because I think he has family actually close to LA and Vegas. I mean, I think our OBJ is a partier as well, I believe I read. So I think OBJ, probably those three teams are going to be known to actually get him more than anything else in the world. I mean, I don't see OBJ going to Green Bay, especially with Rodgers being uncertain to stay there. Who else was on the list? Kansas City, maybe Kansas City if OBJ actually trusts Andy Reid to get something going for that team. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see him going to a cold weather state when he could go to someplace like LA or Oakland, or not Oakland, LA or Las Vegas. He can be in the sun and he's still he's a contender. He's still in a contender spot, for the playoffs. So that's where I think he's going to go. Now, Browns are in a bad spot here. I mean, they lost OBJ. I believe they still have injuries on their roster as well. Can I see real quickly? I think Chubb is still out. Baker's going to be playing. Baker actually has 2 wins over Joe Burrow, but that could change easily this week. Yeah, Baker's 0-3 since week 5. Take it as you will. So yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati to beat the Browns. I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a close contest. It is a division game, and can I actually see where the actual standings are? No, not gonna show me. Oh, it is NFL. I'm using this time. I'm not using ESPN. I should use ESPN because they would give me the actual line and everything. So I might. So I can't tell you who's actually known to win and who's injured right now because of NFL.com. Instead, there's gonna be the lowdown of oh, this offense is ranked this and this defense is ranked that. I'm okay, I don't really need to know that, especially since Cincinnati's apparently lower on defense than the Cleveland Browns are. But the Cleveland Browns defense has been kind of lackluster in my opinion as well. But yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati over the Cleveland Browns. Okay, sorry about that. I actually paused the recording for a second because I decided to change over from NFL.com to ESPN, just so I can have a little bit more predictions here and everything else. But let's go to our second game tonight as we have the Denver Broncos taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And Denver, you just lost Von Miller. Von Miller is going over to the Los Angeles Rams, and I do not see a chance in hell Denver has against the Dallas Cowboys, especially since Dak Prescott's supposed to be able to play this week. Now, Amari Cooper and CD Lamb are both questionable to play, apparently, for Dallas, which, I mean, I don't know what exactly that is for. Apparently, Lamb's ankle. I don't. Lamb has an ankle injury, but I didn't know Cooper actually had a hamstring limitation Thursday. Interestingly enough, Marcus Lawrence is on injured reserves as well, but that's been there for a few. That's been known, and so is Michael Gallup. But I mean, the Cowboys do have injuries, yes, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem for Dallas against the Denver Broncos, especially with them losing Von Miller. So I'm thinking Dallas to easily win against the Denver Broncos. It's a +10 spread for Denver. Maybe Denver can beat the spread. Who knows with them? I just don't see Dallas actually having I'm not Dallas. I don't see Denver having a chance. I really don't. I just don't see Denver's offense really putting it together here. They've proven that they cannot do anything on offense really the last few weeks. I believe the last few weeks actually has been losses besides that win against Washington, which was an ugly football game for Denver and Washington both. Both teams just looked completely sloppy in that game. Cowboys are 6-1. They're undefeated at home, so I'm taking Cowboys to beat the Denver Broncos. Up next, we got the Houston Texans taking on the Miami Dolphins, and this game is going to come down to who do I want to take to have the worst football game. So, Miami is favored to win this game. Actually, ESPN's giving them a 74% chance to win this game against Houston. The problem is that I don't know if I want to take Davis Mills against his defense. I mean, Davis Mills is going to be taking on two of the best corners in the NFL still in Miami with Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. Those two are still good corners. Like, I don't care how bad Miami is. There might be 1-7, but they're still decent corners. And by the way, a little known fact, Houston's 0-4 on the road. Miami's 0-3 at home. So something has to give. One of those teams is going to have a win tonight in this game. I'm going to take Miami to beat the Houston Texans. And I don't think this is going to be an easy game for Miami, to say the least. I think this is going to be a sloppy slugfest here for both teams. I think it's going to be like the game with Texans and, or not Texans. I think it's going to be like the game like the Broncos against the Washington football team. Just two bad teams having a game, and this is utterly a tank bowl. If you guys don't watch Your Name Tree, go watch them. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Miami did not get Deshaun Watson, which would have been funny if Miami did get Deshaun Watson and he plays for the first time against Houston as his first opponent. That would have been interesting. You gotta wonder how they feel about Tua Tagovailoa. Apparently, he's actually questionable to play this week, but I think he's still gonna play, and I think Jacoby Brissett could even beat Houston if he has to go in for them. Like that's just how Houston is. These are just two shit teams. I don't want to talk that much about them. I'm taking Miami over the Houston Texans. Up next, we go to New Orleans to see the Saints take on the Falcons. Saints. I'll give you a clap for what you did last week. You actually went in there as the underdogs and you defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This week you got not a tougher challenge. This week an easier challenge in the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons not looking good last week. They actually lost to Atlanta lost to the Saints in Atlanta fashion as always. But hey, the Braves won a World Series for Atlanta, so I don't think they're really that concerned about their football team right now, at least for the time being. Jameis Winston's out for the season, ladies and gentlemen. Taysom Hill is not playing for the Saints either. Who did the Saints have playing at quarterback is the question here for this game. I believe, let me look. Who played last week for the Saints? I don't want to say it because I think I know who it is, but I just want to make sure before I actually say it. Yes, Trevor Siemian played for the Saints, and he actually came away with a victory against the Buccaneers. Now, I'm taking the Saints actually to beat the Falcons. I'm taking the Saints for one reason only. They still have Alvin Kamara to run the ball. I think this is going to be a run-first centric team for the New Orleans Saints. I don't see the defense of the Atlanta Falcons actually being able to stop them. And I think expect Kamara to have a good day against the Atlanta Falcons. Another thing we gotta actually talk about as note is Calvin Ridley's gonna be out for the remainder of the season for indefinite because of mental health problems. All we gotta say about that, really take as much time as you need, and we'll be here when you come back, hopefully. Well, I'll be here. Maybe not on YouTube. We'll be here. Us football fans will be here. Just I might not be on YouTube. Who knows? I'll still be here. I'm just making jokes. But yeah, I just think the Saints are going to be taking easy time beating the Falcons, even with even with not a good quarterback, without like Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston. I still see the Saints actually taking care of business against Atlanta at least. Falcons, I don't think is that good of a team. I don't think the Saints are that good either. It's just they came off a big win against anyway Buccaneers, a win they shouldn't have even gotten, in my opinion. So take that as you will. I think the Saints have more to prove here. I think the Saints actually have a better shot of being Atlanta than Atlanta does of being themselves. So yeah, I'm taking the Saints over Falcons. Up next, the Las Vegas Raiders at New York Giants. I'm just going to talk about this briefly because I don't want to talk too much about it. Henry Ruggs got into a car crash. He was drunk under the wheel. He took the life of a young 23-year-old woman. The Raiders did release him, so he's not part of the roster anymore. But if I did not talk about this, I think people would actually, not want, I have to talk about it because it's NFL news, guys. It is. I not like talking about this type of stuff because it's not football related. It's not, it's a personal issue with everything. And it doesn't involve the Raiders that much in a team sense. I mean, it does to a certain extent, but I'm talking about this more because of Ruggs and his stupid decision he made. And I don't want to actually cause a rift in the comments about people either defending him or attacking him. I don't really care that much of the fact because I think Ruggs is going to get what he deserves when it comes down to it. Because he did kill somebody, and I think it's just a touchy subject, guys. I just can't talk about it that much. If I talk about it, I'd just be going on and on for ages about it. But anyways, about the game, the Raiders taking on the New York Giants. So, are the Giants even a football team at this point? They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in a close game, I'll say this. Right now, close game that the Chiefs should have absolutely destroyed. But, if we're being honest, the Chiefs are not that good this season. They're not, the best. So, take that as you will. Almost beating the Chiefs Giants. I mean, you can actually, give a clap to yourself for that. I'm going to talk about the Chiefs later on when we get to that game against them and the Packers. But for right now, the Giants are in a bad spot here. And even though the Raiders, they might have just lost their head coach. They lost their head coach this season. They just lost one of their best receivers. I can see the Raiders coming away with a victory against the Giants because it is the New York Giants. I don't see the Giants really stopping the Raiders. I just don't see the Giants as being a competent football team and beating the Raiders. So I got to take the Raiders to beat the Giants easily here in New York. Now, the one thing that kind of worries me is that the Raiders are losing some talent here and there, and it's getting interesting. And if I'm a Raiders fan for the playoffs, I'd be kind of worried about that. But at the same time, for right now, regular season against a team like the Giants, I don't think there's any problem for the Raiders tonight. So I'm taking the Raiders over the Giants. Up next, we had the Carolina as New England Patriots take on the Carolina Panthers. New England, big win last week against the Los Angeles Chargers. I want to make sure, I'm going to actually go to my schedule here, make sure real quickly. That was last week. It was last week. Big win for the Patriots. They came out with a 3-point victory. And a lot of people saying that the Patriots did not deserve that win against the Chargers, but hey, Belichick came out with a good plan, and he stopped He stopped Justin Herbert. That's all he did. That's all he did, and hey, it worked. And that's why the Patriots are such a dangerous team this season, because you don't know what type of Patriot team you're going to be facing. Against the Carolina Panthers have not looked good on offense ever since Mr. McCaffrey got injured this week. People are saying the Patriots are back. I do not think the Patriots are fully back yet, but they will beat the Carolina Panthers without Christian McCaffrey, because I don't think the Panthers are that decent of a team without them. Just honestly, Sam Darnold has not looked decent all since McCaffrey got injured. I don't know what's going on with Carolina. The Patriots, Mac Jones look like a competent quarterback. He's an average competent quarterback. He's not nothing special, but he will get the job done against teams like Carolina or like bad teams in general. Mac Jones can get the job done against. I think Carolina is an average team that Mac Jones can get the job done against. Are the Patriots legit contenders in the AFC? I don't think they're legit contenders for the AFC East. I think Buffalo has it really much locked down at this point. Even though it is a close season. It's a close call right now, because New England has 4 wins and Buffalo has 5. But take that as you will. I don't know. I don't know with the Patriots, because one week they're going to seem like a good, legit contender, and the next week they're going to come out and just not look the same. And this defense don't have really that much talent. Like, they don't have that much, like, star power talent, I should say. Like, they still got Van Noy, and they got Hightower, yes, but losing Gilmore is a staple on that cornerback route, I think, in my opinion. So, I don't know how the Patriots secondary really is without Gilmore. I mean, J.C. Jackson, I didn't think was that good a corner last season. He might be better this season. I haven't really watched that many Patriot games. But, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see Patriots taking on, like, legit contenders like the Bills coming up soon. I believe they take on the Chiefs sooner or later as well here or there. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the Patriots play against good teams when they come down to it, and we'll see how they do. But right now, I think they're going to easily beat the Carolina Panthers. I think the Patriots are going to give, like, good teams fights. Like, here's the thing. I think the Patriots can give teams fights and, be a toss-up. Like, the Patriots will give good teams fights, and it'll be a toss-up game, and whoever's, like, better team usually comes out and wins. They proved themselves against the Chargers last week. They proved it against a competent team like the Chargers. I need to see more games like that, where they come down to the wire and they win it. Like, sorry, beating the Jets 54-17 doesn't, like, impress me that much, Patriot fans. I'm sorry. Up next, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to say this about the Buffalo Bills. And I've been, like, kind of defending them this season and talking about how, like, good this team usually is. Their offense needs to get together on a consistent basis. Their offense will either come out very flat and then they'll pick things up in the second quarter, or they'll come out dominating in the first half and then they'll just stall out in the second. I think the Buffalo Bills need to have an example. They need to make an example out of the Jacksonville Jaguars and completely blow them out. Buffalo should easily win this game, and I'm taking Buffalo to beat the Jaguars. But Buffalo needs to make an example out of the Jaguars and actually just blow them out. Like, I know I'm saying that, like, it's, like, that simple, but it's really, like, the Bills need that type of win. They need to set an example. Like, they did it they did it at the start of the season with the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. Those were big games where they blew out teams and they didn't even let them score. Now they need to do it to Jacksonville and prove that they are actually legit contenders for the Super Bowl. And I think a game like this would be a perfect example for the Bills. Now, if they come out there and they barely beat Jacksonville, then there's concerns. And it's not like playoff concerns enough for Buffalo. It's concerns that, maybe we're not as good as we think we are. But I have full amount of trust in this team to get the job done against Jacksonville. And I think 10 times out of 10 times we're going to beat them. I'm not, like, worried about losing this game at all. If they lose the game and there's a bigger problem in store, and they're probably gonna get an earful from me. But I want to see this Bills team go out there and be the dominant team that they are, and just dominate this Jacksonville Jaguar team that is just incompetent at this point. Urban Meyer does not belong in the NFL as a head coach. He needs to be fired and out of here. He's made Trevor Lawrence look bad. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that bad of a quarterback actually, but I just think under the wrong head coaching staff that he has right now in Urban Meyer, it's not helping him to save his life. Um, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. I'm taking Buffalo to beat Jacksonville. I'm expecting a blowout by Buffalo. I'm betting it because I'm saying this because that Miami game was supposed to be a wake up call, supposed to show that they're still legit, and they barely beat the Dolphins. I mean, 26 to was it 26 or was it 26-11? That doesn't sound like a blowout to me. I mean, even though they did win, the defense looked phenomenal. I mean, the second half, the Bills' offense finally got started and rolling and this, that, and the other. But, I mean, 26 points, that does not sound like the Bills' offense that, the Bills need to see. So, I'm expecting a game in the 40 to 50 digits for Buffalo, and I'm expecting the Jaguars to only have, maybe 10 or 17 points. They can Buffalo beat Jacksonville. Up next, we got the Baltimore Ravens coming off of a bye week at home, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. A bye week for John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh has a good record after the bye week. I'm taking Baltimore easily to handle the Minnesota Vikings. Um, the last time the Minnesota Vikings played at Baltimore was 8 years ago. Yet Ravens coach John Harbaugh still recalls many of the details vividly. What happened the last time they played off against each other is my question. In Baltimore. So yeah, I'm taking Baltimore to easily beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings last week losing to the Cowboys with Cooper Rush really hurts that team, and that hurts the confidence of that team really, if we're being honest. And then taking on a team that has fully healthy Lamar Jackson at quarterback, your running back Lamar Jackson as well. I'm betting Lamar Jackson to run all the floor with the Vikings. However, I will say this about the Baltimore Ravens is that even though they're coming off of a bye week, I have a feeling that this Raven team is going to play down to their opponent, and that this is going to be a close game for Baltimore. I think Baltimore will easily win the game at the end, but I don't know if it will be close or not because the Ravens this year seems like they've been taking a motto out of their AFC North rivals Pittsburgh Steelers 2018 game plan of playing down to opponents. And I think sooner or later it's going to cost them games. I think it cost them against the Bengals when they played against the Bengals. I think they took the Chargers seriously. They didn't take the Bengals seriously. That's why they got blown out by the Bengals. I'm not worried about this Baltimore team losing to Minnesota, but I feel like it's going to be a close game. And maybe, just maybe, the Vikings can come out and pull a W out of the hat or out of somewhere, out of magic. Basically, a W flying out by Minnesota, beating the Ravens. But I'm still taking the Ravens because I don't trust Minnesota to save my life. After what I seen last week by the Vikings, I just cannot trust them. I'm taking Baltimore to beat the Vikings. Up next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Philadelphia Eagles. And the match pitchers saying this is going to be an actual close game. And they're saying that the Eagles actually have a better chance of winning than the Chargers. Are we really overhyping the Eagles now because they beat a team like the Detroit Lions 44-6? Are we really doing that? I mean, I know the Chargers lost to the Patriots in a 3-point game. That was a close contest for both teams, though. And they got blown out by the Ravens, but I don't think that you should underestimate this Charger team. I think the Chargers are still a dangerous team in the AFC. You gotta actually carry and worry about them because they can beat teams like the Eagles that are 0-3 at home this season and have 3 wins off of teams like Detroit, the Carolina Panthers, and I believe they beat the Giants earlier this season. I'm taking the Chargers to beat the Eagles. And I don't think it's... Oh, they beat Atlanta. They didn't beat the Giants. Okay. They still haven't faced the Giants yet, interestingly enough. But I still don't see the Eagles standing a chance against the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers to beat the Eagles. And I'll even take the Chargers in a spread. Only a 1.5 spread for this game. I'm taking the Chargers easily against the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles actually stand a chance against the Chargers. This defense will rough them up a little bit. And I'm expecting the Chargers to go in there and just get the job done as they always do and, come away with victory. I mean, I consider that New England game to be... It's not a trap game, really, but it was a game that was going to be close to say the least, and I thought the Chargers would come away with the victory in the end. But, games like this where they take on the Eagles, I just don't see them having that much trouble beating the Eagles, to be completely honest with you guys. Now, maybe the Eagles surprised me. They put some offensive points on the Charger defense, and somehow, some way, Justin Herbert does not throw, maybe 30 to 40, 30 to 40 points against the Eagles defense. I'm highly doubting it, but I still think the Chargers are going to easily walk away with this win against the Eagles, and yeah. So I'm just going to skip this game and go to the next. Up next, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Headline story today, Aaron Rodgers testing positive for COVID. He'll not be playing in this game. It was supposed to be a big, big Super Bowl aspiration for both teams with two MVPs playing against each other, but now it is Jordan Love taking on Patrick Mahomes. I want to take Green Bay in this game. Because I think the Kansas City Chiefs are in kind of a bad spot here right now. I think the Chiefs are playing really bad football. I know they are. They're not playing good at all. They lost to Tennessee 27-3. They almost lost to the Giants. Their last good victory was against Washington, which was a 31-13 win. But even then, that Washington game looked bad for Mahomes sometimes as well, too. Mahomes has thrown 10 interceptions this season. That's the most he's thrown in his whole career, I believe, as well. I wanted the Packers, but at the same time, I know they don't have Davante Adams. I know they don't have Aaron Rodgers. How the hell are they going to score? Is my question right now to you guys. Jordan Love. If Jordan Love plays really well, and I mean really, really well, we might see a change of the guard at quarterback for Green Bay. Green Bay is it's something interesting right now going on with Aaron Rodgers getting COVID and all this speculation coming out. If Jordan Love goes out there and plays good against Kansas City and completely dominates and they win this game somehow, some way against the Chiefs offense, against the Chiefs, this is a game where I can see Jordan Love doing it too, because that Kansas City defense is not that good. I'm going with my gut, and I'm saying I gotta take the Chiefs because no Rodgers, no Davante Adams. I just don't see it happening for Green Bay. But at the same time, what if? What if Jordan Love goes out there and shocks the world by beating the Kansas City Chiefs? Does that make a QB controversy in Green Bay where they should start Jordan Love over Rodgers, especially if Rodgers has a bad game after the COVID game, after this COVID stuff? What if this COVID stuff is more severe than you think and Jordan Love has to play the rest of the season for the Packers? Because the NFL is going to put some harsh punishment on Rodgers for not being vaccinated. It's all hearsay right now, folks, but as I'm saying this, stuff could happen in Green Bay. Now, I could just be wrong altogether, and Rodgers will be back in the lineup next week, and it'll be all fine and well and dandy. But this game is going to be interesting to say the least, because I want to see how Jordan Love plays against this Kansas City defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City's defense lays an egg against them. But I got to take the Chiefs against the Packers here, because no Rodgers, no Davante Adams. And I can live with myself if Jordan Love goes out there and actually dominates the Chiefs defense, because most people are probably thinking Kansas City in this game anyways because of the new news that came out about Rodgers. Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals going into San Fran, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. J.J. Watt out for the season, I believe, for the Arizona Cardinals. Hopkins is questionable to play. Murray's questionable to play. I believe they have injuries in practice for the Cardinals this season. Um, I say that, but Murray and Hopkins are going to play. I'm not even worried about that much. The spread's actually better for the Niners than it is for the Arizona Cardinals for some reason. Up plus 2.5 for Arizona over the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm wondering why that is. Is it because of Murray and Hopkins being injured? Like, I mean, they can be injured all they want. I mean, they're still going to play. I mean, hamstring was on the field for practice, or ankle was on the field for Friday's practice. Okay. At least Murray's going to play. I'm pretty sure Murray's going to play. I just don't see him not playing. So give me Arizona beat the Niners. I think that's an easy pick here. The Niners they've had the fortune of bad luck. I don't think they're as bad as the record says, 3-4 this season. But I just don't see them being a powerhouse team like the Arizona Cardinals. That's all I gotta say about this game. I mean, this is a rematch that could look good. It could look interesting for both teams, especially if we see Garoppolo taking a back seat and we see Trey Lance actually starting for the Niners as well, which is actually speculated as well. We could be seeing a different quarterback. So yeah, or maybe it's Garoppolo playing. Who knows? I don't think Garoppolo is a good quarterback to say the least. I think I would want to see Trey Lance in there if I was a Niner fan. But that's just me. Okay, so it is Garoppolo playing at quarterback. So yeah, it'll be Garoppolo versus Kyler Murray's Arizona Cardinals. Take it as you will. I'm taking Arizona over Niners. So Sunday Night Football gonna be an interesting game as Tennessee Titans take on the Los Angeles Rams. Von Miller coming to LA, and this is gonna be his first game replaced. He went to sleep 4-4. He woke up 7-1. He's ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. And the big news for Tennessee is that they have Derrick Henry out for the season. Now, Derrick Henry is going to be back for the playoffs, apparently, which will be good for him. Will the Tennessee Titans make the playoffs is the question without Derrick Henry on their roster, like in the game with them. A.J. Brown, questionable play for the Titans as well. This is a big game for the Titans. And this is a tough game for the Titans as well, as they're going to be taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Ryan Tannehill is going to be in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. You got that. That's a tough defense right there. With you got Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the defensive line. Any team's going to have trouble with that lineup right there. I gotta take the Rams to beat the Titans. I can't. I can't take the Titans. Derrick Henry being out takes away their run game. I don't see the Titans really doing that much without Derrick Henry against his defense. Even with Derrick Henry, it'd still be a hard time to run against him because of Von Miller and Aaron Donald. That's a tough tandem right there. I think Derrick Henry's the type of running back to actually get some yards against them, but without Derrick Henry, I don't see the Titans actually having a chance against the Rams. 7-1 this season are the Los Angeles Rams, only losing to the Cardinals. They want to go back and take on the Arizona Cardinals and get that win back, but it's hard to say, man. I gotta take the Rams over the Titans. I just don't see it happening. Now, as for the Titans, I still see them winning the AFC South easily. I don't see Indy being a problem for them without Derrick Henry. But it also depends on their schedule, right? Let's take a look at the next few games. I'm saying the Rams will beat them, so we're giving the Rams a win. Take on the Saints. That's a game the Tennessee Titans should win. Saints will chalk up as a win. Houston, I'm going to give them a win for that as well. So that's 8-3. New England, that could be 8-4. That could be toss-up for both teams. Jacksonville win. Pittsburgh, that's a toss-up. San Fran, I'd give that a toss-up. I'd give the Titans a win. I give the Titans a win against Miami and Houston again. So I don't see the Titans not making the playoffs. Will they win the division? I don't know. That's hard. Hard to say. But I'm taking the Titans to at least be in the playoffs and have Derrick Henry back for the playoffs. But I'm taking the Rams to beat the Titans right now here on the channel. Easily Rams over Titans. Our last game, it will be Monday Night Football as we got the Chicago Bears take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields is having a bad season, ladies and gentlemen, but last week we seen him actually looking the best he's ever looked without Matt Nagy being on sideline to actually cheer him on. Is it a coincidence, people, that Matt Nagy being gone and Justin Fields has his best NFL performance I've seen from him? Are the Bears better without Matt Nagy? Is the interim head coach better than Matt Nagy as head coach? I'm just gonna keep stating these like little facts here. Now, of course, I think Matt Nagy's gonna be back because I think he's actually cleared from COVID, which means bye Justin Fields and him playing really well, running out of the pocket, because Matt Nagy's offense sees that as a sin. I'm taking true references as well, by the way. But I noticed it too that Justin Fields has not ran the ball out of the pocket until Matt Nagy was actually out as the head coach. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's because of Matt Nagy. I think he wanted him to be a pocket quarterback. And I think Justin Fields is a lot better than that. I think he's a two-way player. And I think it shows the way he played last week against the Niners. Even though they lost that game, I'm not putting that on Justin Fields. Justin Fields had an amazing performance against the Niners. Sadly, your defense couldn't show up against them. So, you're taking on one of the best defenses in the league, in the Pittsburgh Steelers, or the Chicago Bears. I cannot take the Bears to win against the Steelers, because Matt Nagy is not going to have this offense getting going at all with Justin Fields. And he's going to make him a pocket passing quarterback again. So I'm taking Pittsburgh to beat the Chicago Bears easily, handily. It's going to be a close game because the Steelers can't score or produce at all either. But they're starting to rely more on Najee Harris, and Harris is starting to actually deliver for them as well. Juju's, I believe, is out for the season as well for the Steelers, so that hurts their receiving core a little bit here and there. But, I mean, Juju hasn't been really a factor since they lost Antonio Brown, in my opinion. I still think the Steelers have an easy shot of beating the Bears here tonight on Monday Night Football. I'm taking the Steelers to beat the Bears. People are saying the Steelers are back and they have a chance to win the AFC North. The AFC North is so open for any team, really. It's not even funny. Like the Cleveland Browns 4-4, Steelers 4-3, Bengals 5-3. Ravens 5-2. You see how close those all four are? It's gonna be interesting to say the least in the home stretch. We'll see how the Steelers do when they take on the Ravens. I believe in the coming weeks. I believe when are they taking on the Ravens? They take on in 5 weeks. We'll actually see how they play against the Chargers. I think that'll be a challenge for the Pittsburgh Steelers right there at the Chargers game. And then they take on Cincinnati and then Baltimore. I think those 3 games right there are going to be a testament for the Steelers, and we'll see how they do against those, if they're really back in the hunt for the AFC North or not. And those are games they need to win against Cincinnati and the Ravens at least. The game against the Chargers, I think they should win too, because that's a big important game as well. Give me the Steelers beat the Chicago Bears, though. I don't think the Bears actually have a problem. I don't think the Steelers will have a problem against the Bears. I just don't see Matt Nagy really having an offensive answer for the Steelers' defense. And that's what's going to come down to, is Matt Nagy being a horrible head coach. Steelers over Bears. So yeah, that is all my predictions, guys, for the NFL Week 9 predictions. I believe this is Week 9. Yes, Week 9. And yeah, so let me know in the comment section what you guys think if you guys don't have your actual predictions on the channel itself. We're going to get everyone else's predictions as well, and we'll get everyone's picks here and everything else. And we'll have them edited in the video as always, as you always know. But yeah, that's going to do it for me here tonight, guys. I'll see you guys. Oh, by the way, I'm recording on Friday, so you guys won't have to worry about this right now on Saturday, because this is when the video comes out, probably Saturday night or Sunday morning. But as always, next week, AWW, Friday. Also, the pay-per-view Saturday. Show up for that, guys, on the Twitch channel. Important shows to watch, man. You guys will enjoy it. If you guys love wrestling, you'll enjoy AWW. Just have to make that like little sponsor there. You're a football fan coming around on Tuesdays and maybe Saturdays as well for the NFL series. Those are also fun as well. You might enjoy that as well as we watch and commentate football games from NFL, ESPN, 2K5. Those are my plugs, guys. I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.